Hello everyone and welcome to the 11th round of the F1 Mallorca's DTM Championship. We are live from Korea tonight and we've got 4 or 5 races left to get this championship decided. I am Matt and I will be joined by James in the commentary box today as well.
G'day everyone.
So Korea, once again, a track we don't normally go to DTM on.
Yes, but DTM cars are always described as Formula type cars with a roof, and they're quite fast in the corners and they are quite impressive on a lot of these non-touring car tracks, as it were, or the Formula 1 tracks. And in practice so far we've had Serrano out in front again being the pace setter, so it looks like he's going to be the man to chase. About half a second faster than Fuchsia, who's about a tenth faster than Herrero. Any moment soon, we should be moving on into qualifying.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be between Serrano and Fuchsia again. Fuchsia said just before he got in the car that he was about a second or so behind Serrano, so he's found some time at least. As a smoking Nieto, I think that was, goes best. This is once again going to be a 1 lap or so in quali as well, like we saw in Singapore.
If you'd just like to bring it up, could you remind us of the championship standings and how they're looking at this stage in the season?
I do believe Fuchsia's got the lead from Serrano. I'm not sure how to find the championship standings off the top of my head though.
Yep, well that's perfectly fine. I'm sure they're in their respective positions with the correct numbers.
Well, Herrero is going to be another one to watch out for as well. Charging hard at the end of Monza.
Yes, indeed. Looks like he's going to be on for another strong performance here if he doesn't suffer the failures that he was suffering at the end of Monza after that very, very hard push. And it looks as though we're going to move on into qualifying in just a moment.
Let's see if Checker finishes his lap off. No, we won't get to finish it.
Not enough time. Okay, so who will be the first man out on track?
It's going to be crucial one because they may well get 2 laps in if they are.
Of course, the DTM Mallorca Championship only having a 5-minute long qualifying session.
Looks like that could well be Serrano. It is indeed.
So we've got Serrano followed by Checker, followed by Nieto at the end of the pit lane as the light goes green and they leave the pit lane.
A very strange pit exit as well, leading
Yes, quite
onto the
clumsy.
apex of turn 1.
If there are any battles during the pit stop phase,
Oh, Herrero.
we'll need to look at.
Herrero's already gone and spun it, coming down the back straight.
No, straight's not a place where you want to be spinning the car. Fortunately enough, he'll have enough time to get out there and get at least 1 lap in, as Checker and Nieto run a little bit deep into turn 3.
Gonna be quite a few drivers struggling with that, I think. It's such a big braking zone. So it'll be Serrano setting a lap time first out of all of these laps. Will it be the pole lap time? I do believe we're just coming into the final sector of the lap. Indeed we are. Not sure what strategies we're going to have either. We saw 4 stops at Singapore last time out. Whether it's going to be the same here or less is to be decided. As Serrano is just coming around the final corner now to finish off his out lap and start the qualifying lap.
Well, generally, the Singapore and the Korean Grand Prix use softer tyre sets and have a very high rate of wear, so you could be seeing a high amount of pit stops once again.
Off goes Serrano then. DRS signs, but we won't be using DRS in these cars.
Of course, their
turn 3.
2013 counterparts do have DRS attached to them.
Manages to get it slowed down nicely for turn 3 then. And down the straight once again, past the support pit lane. Looking good so far for Serrano. Yellow flag, someone spun, but quickly recovered. So it's Serrano currently quickest in sector 1, Checker and Nieto, and then Aguilera's lost 8 seconds in that first sector somewhere. Fuchsia and Herrero haven't finished sector 1 off yet. We've only got a minute left of qualifying. Across the line then for Serrano, this is going to be a 2 minutes and 2.017. So a pretty quick lap time, as I think that was Aguilera just leaving pit lane. Checker pops into second with a 2 minutes 3.
Checker in free practice managing a 2 minutes and 2 as well, a high 2 minutes and 2 I believe. Not quite the pace he wants to be running at here. Serrano's right on the pace where he needs to be. And can anyone catch him?
Fuchsia's just about to set his lap time. Just get across the line for another lap. I don't think anyone's going for another lap though. Where's this going to put Fuchsia? It's a 2-minute 2.5, which puts him in second.
Yes, again matching his free practice time, so Fuchsia's going to need to find more time than that if he's going to take it to Serrano here. Quite easy to find half a second on such a long track, but Serrano, like we've said, has been on the top of his game recently.
3 drivers still not set a lap time, which is Herrero, Aguilera and Porto.
Aguilera's in the pit lane, so he will not be setting a...
Serrano's going quicker in sector 1 again. Could this be a 2-minute 1 from him? Sector times are showing that it could be so far.
No lap time will be set by Aguilera and from Herrero. Porto is out on track, however.
Serrano's 0.3 up in the second sector. This could be a fairly dominant pole over Fuchsia if he manages to finish his lap off. Is Fuchsia on a lap at the minute though?
Seems as though he is.
Around the final corner then. Yeah, that is the final corner, so it's going to be a 2 minutes and 1.5, wow.
Finds an extra half a second around here. That means Fuchsia needs to improve by over a second on his previous time to take this pole away from Jordi Serrano.
Serrano certainly laying down a benchmark, indeed.
Wide like that.
He's already 2.3 down in second sector, so I think Serrano is going to be taking pole by over a second here.
And Fuchsia's just gone and lost the rear end through the final sector there. He's just going to finish off this lap here. Not going to jump to the pit lane. A couple of things to look out for here as drivers are pushing is there's quite a few sleeping policemen on the track. Fuchsia practices his pit lane entry. So passing down the inside could be quite a risky move. Bumping over the sleeping policeman.
So they had trouble with that in Monza as well, then at that second chicane, trying to recover from the various spins they had.
Okay, so at the end of qualifying, our grid is looking like Serrano, Fuchsia, Checa, Nieto, Herrero, Aguilera and Porto, running out in 7th.
Quiet grid again, only 7 cars. So we are just about 5 minutes or so away from the start of the race, so we'll take a quick advert break. And we shall join you again for round 11 of the DTM Championship.
As we are about to move on to the race session, a reminder of the grid before the race start. We had Serrano in first, Fusha in second, Checker in third, Nieto in fourth, Herrero in fifth, Juan Marfa in sixth, and Porto in seventh. During that warm-up session, there's a couple of the drivers out on track doing practice starts and circulating just to get bit more practice in before the start of the race. Hopefully our cameraman will be more available at the beginning of this race to capture the action that's taking part. I will be describing what's happening regardless of the cameraman though. So all the drivers making their way to the grid now. We're 25 seconds away from start here. Going to be a 28 lap race, and it would be quite exciting with the top 3 plus Herrero running quite close in qualifying and free practice. Alright, lights are on, 4 lights, 5 lights, they're out, and we are underway for the DTM Mallorca here at Korea Yongnam.
Looks like Checker's got a good start actually.
Fusha on the
Herrera
start there.
wide.
Quite a few people missing that first turn, but plenty of runoff here, and we've got a drag race between Fusha and Checker.
Checker's got the advantage slightly.
Gonna be breaking off line though.
Oh, Fusha
Fusha's
trying
got
to
the
find
slipstream
space
out
down the inside of both maybe. Oh, bit of
Ooh.
contact.
Nieto
Who's that?
squeezing down the inside of Herrera as well. So coming into the end of the first sector, we've got Serrano, followed by Fusha, followed by
Looks like Herrera's coming
Aguilera.
back at Nieto. Laps of Korea.
Yeah, Fusha's got Checker all over the back of him in the beginning of this first lap. He's not had the strongest start. He was down in third by the first corner. In fact, they're side by side going into these S's here.
Whoa.
Fusha's got the high ground for the first turn.
Both managing to keep that pointing in the right direction there.
Herrera's run a little wide through that section as well, following Nieto's run wide through the next corner as well. This might give a chance for Porto and Aguilera to catch back up. Aguilera's had a bad start in there somewhere, I think.
This is giving Serrano the break he wanted. He's already 1.1 seconds ahead.
He's been able to drive away at the beginning of these races a lot recently, so these drivers will need to pull their heads together and not fight each other to fight the common enemy of Serrano.
Checker and Nieto getting it a bit wrong there.
So Serrano's heading into the final corner of the first lap. We have the order of Serrano, Fusha, Checker, Nieto, Herrera. Aguilera is just ahead of Porto as they come across the line as well. A 1.4 second gap that Serrano's pulled out in this first lap, so these guys are going to need to really pick up their pace if they want to get anywhere near that lead and that victory today.
So we've had a bit of contact between Porto and Serrano in turn 1. Just on board with Porto at the minute, see what happened.
It looks like we are looking at those sausage curbs again. We were talking about them in qualifying and they've already started to attack and take out some of our drivers.
Oh, Serrano, big mistake into the 4th turn. No one was close enough to capitalise it.
Of course, pushing in the early stages of this race, trying to build that gap.
Is Nieto missing half the front? No, it's not. It's just the design of the car.
So Serrano still looking to find 3/10 in that first sector of this lap. We've got Herrera all over the back of Nieto as he takes a move down the inside, but thinks better of it. Nieto's run wide, Scoop Herrera run down through the middle section, a double apex corner. It's a bit far back here, and it's not really a passing opportunity for those of you who have had a chance to watch any races around here or play it in any of these games. So, timing through that second sector there, and the gap for Serrano is now up to 2.1 seconds. Can anyone stop Serrano this race, or does he have a short fuel load and a short early stint to try and build up a gap on these guys? Of course, slipstreaming a big factor here at the Yongnam circuit.
Serrano's just set a 2-minute 2.6 lap. That's pretty quick. In fact, wasn't that Fusha's qualifying lap time?
Yes. Yes, it was more or less. I think maybe a tenth or so off. Serrano pushing early here. Checkers getting a nice slipstream here down a very long straight. Might think about it on the inside, but brakes early. Thinks better of it. Herrera is all over the back of Nieto once again. So we've got two nice battles out on track at the moment.
It was...
And Herrera he's actually got to run Nieto coming down into turn 4. He's on the inside. He's going to have the high ground to go down into braking zone.
Is the room? Yes, there is. Up into fourth goes Herrero. And we've got Aguilera in the background spinning off there. Porto 24 seconds down after his spin at start of lap 2. So can Herrero catch up to these front two runners?
Porto seems to be up to his old games once again. We got Checker harassing the back of Fuchsia now through this middle sector here. Once again, not really the best corners to pass through these tight, not even tight, but very challenging S's. Not wide enough because it's almost a single line through, but if Checker can stay on the back of him here, Fuchsia has a bit of a twitch. You might be able to get a run into the first turn, or you might be able to get a run into turn 3. As the gap between them on track appears to be just about 4 tenths. Serrano not gaining too much time in this lap, only 2 tenths so far, so either he's backed off or hasn't had as strong a lap this time.
Gaps opened up between Fuchsia and Checker now as well, whilst you were talking about that.
Gaps also opened up between Herrero and Nieto somewhere. Of course, Herrero was actually third fastest in free practice, so expecting some strong driving from him later in this race if he's catching the leaders.
Nieto's actually lost quite a bit of ground to Herrero. 2 seconds or so. Oh, Checker! I thought he was going to be in the back of Fuchsia there. Checker seems quicker of the two in this first sector, I think. He's only about 0.6-ish behind Fuchsia.
And it looks as though the pair of Fuchsia and Checker have neutralized the gain that Serrano's been making on these past couple of laps.
I wonder if Herrero can catch up to these two as well.
He had the pace in practice. He certainly should be getting up there later in the race.
Although his first sector he's probably about 0.6 off in the first sector, so
I need to lift up his pace. Serrano only pulling out a 10th in that last sector there. Visually, he looks a lot closer on track, so Serrano maybe not pulling away the same amount he was earlier in the race.
gaps around 3 seconds at the minute.
Now that Fuchsia and Checker aren't battling each other as hard, although he does pull out another 2 tenths in that final sector.
Here comes Checker yet again out of turn 2. In the slipstream, he could be down the inside into turn 3 here. He's already alongside as we come up to the braking zone. Backs out of it quite early though. Or has he? He might. Oh no, can he get the overlap?
He's going to be right behind turn 4 here.
No way through just yet then for Checker. And now watch Fuchsia pull away through this final 2 sectors of the lap.
It seems as though the first sector is a lot more dependent on aerodynamics and on braking, whereas the middle 2 sectors, or rather the middle and last sector, are more reliant on speed through the corners and aerodynamics. So we could be seeing a variation in the setups here, and that could be why Checker's pulling in close on the straights.
Feels to me like Checker's not as confident on the brakes as Fuchsia either.
Oh, you generally aren't when you're travelling faster. Serrano seems to be weaker in the beginning and the middle of the lap, but very strong in this finishing sector, as the gap this time around is now up to 3.8 seconds. Fuchsia and Checker separated by 1 second. They come through turn 1 and 2.
Here we go again. Fuchsia's got a bit more of a gap this time around.
Gaps to other drivers. Herrero seems to be just falling off the pace a little bit with Fuchsia and
Checker! Almost running in the back with Fuchsia under braking for turn 3 there. Had to take to the outside line to avoid that.
Checker is a much faster car in a straight line here. Quite a smart thing tactically, as your main passing opportunities are straight on this track. However, he does lose a lot of ground in this middle part of the lap, so he needs to find that pace and stick on the back of Fuchsia like glue from this turn onwards. He's a lot closer than he was last time, but can he stay as close till the end of the lap?
Using all the AstroTurf that he can. Brakes locked up. Fuchsia's slightly wider out there than Checker was. Checker's had a good middle sector actually.
Done all he needs to so far. We do have one more passing opportunity coming up into this next turn. If Checker's close enough and brave enough, if not, the next real opportunity is down in turn 1. But he doesn't think the passing opportunity this up round, so Checker needs to stay on the back of him through this last turn, get on the power early. Ooh, but he's a bit raggedy and he's going to be a sleeping policeman. He's going to lose a lot of time there.
I don't know, he's not lost too much.
He's going to be close on this second straight here.
I think they may be catching Serrano, at least visually. I don't think they are in time though. Whoa! Both of them struggling to get through turn 1. This is going to be Checker's best chance yet all race. Can he get it slowed down once he gets past though?
Pulls out of the slipstream. Pulls ahead as we expected. Comes across on the braking zone, a little bit cheeky there, left just enough room. Fuchsia's going to try and cut back under, but Checker's got good traction at the corner and he's going to drive away here.
Now can Checker keep that up in the middle 2 sectors, although Fuchsia might be coming back at him. Doesn't manage it though.
And now we're heading into Fuchsia's territory, the second and third sector, where Checker is quite off the pace compared to Fuchsia. So we'll see what he can do. As you, just the camera angle led me to believe that he ran wide through that corner there. Of course he didn't.
Fuchsia seems a bit ragged at the minute.
6 laps into this race here. We expect that it's got a fairly high rate of wear and a lot of load going through the tyres on these constant S-ing bends through sectors 2 and 3. We could be seeing pit stops anytime soon, but how many we do not know. So pit stops will definitely be a factor in the next couple of laps, I imagine.
I think a 4-stopper, 3-stopper even, you'd start pitting around now.
And as I say,
yes, we do.
Checker.
Where's Serrano though? Serrano is in as well, so top 3 into the pit lane then. Herrero goes through to take the lead.
Very interesting watching that lap as Fuchsia was starting to drop off towards the end of that lap, probably because of tyre wear, and this was a good indicator that pit stops were imminent.
Very equal between Checker and Fuchsia in the stops there. 29.9 for Checker. It's not showing me Fuchsia's that time, probably about the same. Pit time even. In fact, Fuchsia's a lot further back, you know.
Yeah, he's not been as strong in the pit stops there, so Fuchsia's going to need to really work to get back on the back of Serrano. Serrano not driving away as far as he has in previous races at the moment. He hasn't got it all done right now. Any little mistake, and both Checker and Fuchsia are back in this one.
Fuchsia, tad mistake coming out of turn 3 as well.
And we've got Porto going very slowly in the pit lane there, possibly made a mistake. I'll report back to you on that one there. And indeed, Porto spins in the pit lane entry. Herrera was very strong in free practice here, so we might need to watch out for a pit stop undercut, as it were, by pitting one less time, which is completely possible at this stage of the race, or just raw pace, catching him back up to the back of... Ooh, and he's missed that pit lane entry a little bit there. Okay, so Herrera entering the pits. Where is he going to come out in relation to Checker and Fuchsia? Is the man he's trying to race. He was about 5 or 7, maybe even 8 seconds behind the pair. Nieto's entered the pits. Checker's across the line, Fuchsia's the line, Herrera's exiting his box. Actually, I may be incorrect, but last I remember on the timing, he was about 10 to 12 seconds behind Serrano. So that's the gap I'm going to be looking for here. Visually, I believe he's lost a bit of time here by staying out. Fuchsia's caught onto the back of Check.
Fuchsia certainly looking a lot quicker than Checker at the minute, but can he do anything with it? He's going to have to try and make a move down the first couple of corners, but Checker's got the quicker car there. Already on lap 9.
Yes, it's a much faster race than the Singapore. Fortunately, both the real life Formula 1 and sim racing world find it quite a difficult track, and it is such an enduring and long track as well.
So, Fuchsia chasing down Checker. This is going to be his best chance if he gets close enough out of turn 1 and 2. Just showing himself in the mirrors. Checker's already gone.
Aguilera has retired somewhere here. Having a look at the replay now, he's driving through his final sector. Oh, and in the final corner, oh, and the second to last corner rather, he's got on the power too early and gone straight in the concrete wall. The final sector of this track here is very much like a street circuit with its tight walls, so our first retirement of the race is Aguilera. So this promotes Porto up into second place as Nieto has just taken his drive-through penalty on this lap as well.
That was a pretty hefty whack from Aguilera actually.
Back out on track though, and Checker seems to be pulling away from Fuchsia here, so Fuchsia, whilst faster in practice and qualifying, doesn't seem to have the race pace on Checker, who's also been performing strong recently. Checker, I believe, is a two-time winner in this championship so far, or at least this season. So Fuchsia's got his work cut out, but Checker's made a mistake through the middle part of the lap here, and Fuchsia's all over the back of him once again.
Checker won last time, well not last time out, 2 weeks, or 2 races ago in Monza.
Fuchsia is really in the back of Checker right now. He's going to have a fantastic run down into the first corner, or even before then if he's going to try and force a gap. Fuchsia has to watch it. If he tries to take position in turn 1, he may be vulnerable again in turn 3, but he's got the slipstream, he's got the pace. See what he can do down here into 1 and 3. Doesn't do anything into 1, needs a good exit last time around. Checker was on the power earlier and got a better run down to turn 3.
Serrano's just gone and done a 2-minute 2.3 fastest lap of the race, which falls out by quite a bit over these two.
Only just a little bit off of his qualifying pace. Fuchsia doesn't have the legs of Checker down that straight. Fuchsia's gonna have to get it done.
Ooh. Both of them made a mistake there.
That corner there. Fuchsia's not fast enough on the straight, so he's going to have to get it all done through sectors 2 and 3. But there's not really the best opportunity to pass down there. He's going to have to find the gap or force the mistake from Checker.
Or create the gap. You know, Herrero was a tad quicker than these two last lap. About 0.2 seconds quicker. Herrero, that was his fastest half actually.
I do not have any live timing up at the moment, and I've had to rejoin R Factor, but would you be able to tell me what the gap is from Serrano to Checker right now?
It is in the region of... hang on, it's just coming across the ticker now. 8.1.
Not quite showing the pace he was having in free practice earlier, kind of sticking around the same lap times as the guys in front, but not really reeling them in. Quite detrimental to his chances at a podium here.
Fuchsia's fallen back from Checker actually.
He has indeed, by a fair bit. He's going to lose even more time down these straights, because we know Fuchsia isn't as strong down here.
not 11 laps to go, 17 laps to go, we've got 11 completed. Soon be 2 or 3 more laps and it'll be pit stop number 2. Oh, Fuchsia!
It was at the end of lap 6 last time round that they were coming into the pits. Almost 6 more gone again.
Fuchsia got a bit of a tank slapper coming out of turn 3 there. And he lost 1.6 seconds to Herrero that last lap. Herrero is on a charge at the minute.
Yeah, I was about to say, he's just about the length of that second straight away. So, need to watch out for this man here, because at the end of Monza, he was hounding the back of Fuchsia for second place. Herrero could do this once again, but I believe he had a bit of brake trouble or something towards the end of the race. He has to also manage the car. We know he can be fast. What's Herrero's relative pace right now compared to Serrano, for example?
Fuchsia making another mistake. Herrero was actually quicker than Serrano that last lap, actually. Not by much, but he was quicker.
Herrera's going to be quite disappointed by not setting a lap time in qualifying. Obviously it's hurt him a lot during the race now that he's in recovery mode.
I'll tell you what, Fuchsia's tyres are hurting him quite badly at the minute. He's really struggling through this final sector of the lap.
As Serrano goes across the line to begin lap 12, he has now, just almost halfway through the race, lapped Porto, the first man to be lapped out on track.
Just waiting for Herrera to come across the line and see what lap time he manages this time around. It is
Visually, they're on the same straight here.
Herrera almost a second quicker than Serrano that last lap.
Running a little wide through 1 and 2. He's going to have to be careful he's not pushing too hard here because all this work could easily be thrown away. Fuchsia has lost a lot of ground on Checker here, so either Fuchsia playing the long game and taking it easy through this stint here, or genuinely lacking the pace to keep it up with Checker.
Serrano did a 2 minutes 4.5 and Herrera did a 2 minutes 3.7.
What was the lap time from Checker then? Because the gap... Oh, no, I know what I'm looking at. Checker looks visually closer to Serrano because Porto is now in between them on track. So I thought he was catching Serrano, but he's just catching the lap car of Porto.
Checker was a 2 minute... Oh, it should disappear off timing screen, that's helpful. I think it was 2 minute 4 points, low 2 minute 4 for Checker that last lap. Porto's going to have to jump out the way fairly quickly.
Not in a very good part of the track as well.
Although hopefully Serrano woke him up. And yes he has, he's got out the way quite nicely there actually.
Good work from Porto, not the easiest place to let people through, especially when you're a lap car. Quick flash of the headlights, bit of sign of respect I hope.
Fuchsia is a lot better this lap, tyres seem to have come back to him.
I think Porto may have helped out though.
Not noticed him sliding around as much at least. Now, are we going to be pitting this lap? No we're not, so this is a 8 lap stint then. Perhaps with, I was going to say with less fuel, but they've probably still got the same amount really. Still only one retirement, which is Aguilera. These cars definitely aren't slow in a straight line. Fuchsia reaching 285 kph down the straights. I think James may have cut out at some point.
Should still be here, Matt.
Well, there you are. He seemed to go silent halfway through a sentence.
Yes, I do sometimes have connection problems, but no, I am still here. So, with a couple more performances like this, Serrano must surely be closing down on that championship lead that Fuchsia has here.
Yeah, Serrano's only gained points in the last... Well, he gained points in Singapore, and looks like he's going to gain quite a good chunk here as well.
Of course, Serrano not having a good race in Monza.
No, indeed, it was a battle with Fuchsia actually that caused that as we come into the pits to take second stops.
Looks like Porto's gone around once again.
So Herrera staying out a lap longer then.
Once again, the top three, all pitting at the same time here.
there going to be any differences in gap after this. Seems fairly stable. Although actually I say that, but coming out turn 2, Checker looks a lot visibly further ahead.
As they were out of the last pit stop phase as well, so the team for Fuchsia not quite as strong in the pits, as Fuchsia runs a bit deep there into turn 3 as well.
10 seconds between Serrano and Checker. Must be hard for Porto to keep going as well. He's 90 seconds behind into his car at the minute.
And that's bearing in mind that the leaders have just pitted as well. However, 6th place is still some strong points for Porto if he finishes, and this will be very beneficial in his championship, no doubt.
I'm not sure who Porto is actually fighting in the table. I would guess probably Aguilera and Nieto. Possibly Salazar.
All points are good points. No denying that there. So any points you can grab will be better than any points you don't grab.
Indeed. And speaking of Salazar, I've not seen him for a couple of races now actually.
The last one would have to be the Hungaroring, I believe. No, he was disqualified from Monza, so missing the last race of Singapore and missing this race here.
Oh, someone's spun in front of the leaders. It was Porto.
Herrera's been in the pits this time here. That's Checker and Fuchsia.
Herrera's already leaving.
Yeah, Herrera's gained a lot of time through that second, what do they call those things? That second pit stop phase.
Those things, stints.
Yes, stints, that's the word I was looking for. Thank you very much, Matt. So we know Herrera's going to be strong towards the end of this stint. We'll have to look out for Herrera at the end of the race, because I have a feeling he's going to be challenging for that 3rd spot, if not maybe 2nd on the podium here. As the order rectifies itself now, and we have Serrano leading Checker, leading Fuchsia, who's just on the back of Checker here. Get back to the order in just a moment. Fuchsia's lost the rear end a little bit through there. Power slid through that corner. Really pushing on the back of Checker here. Now it's coming into Fuchsia's strong part of the lap as well, unless Checker's managed to get it under control. He's been fairly strong through there the past couple of laps. See what Fuchsia can do. Not many passing opportunities as mentioned previously before, but we got one coming up here and Fuchsia's right alongside. Does he think about it? No, he doesn't.
Oh, surely he's gonna...
Checker's locked up.
Did Checker make a mistake into turn 4? Because Fuchsia didn't seem that close.
He's made a mistake somewhere, but Fuchsia's right on the back of him now. One more pass opportunity coming up in 1 corner's time, and Fuchsia's right there where he needs to be.
Fuchsia, of course, needs to be careful he doesn't go and throw it in a wall trying to get 2nd away from Checker.
Yes, you're right. He does have a championship on the line as the championship leader, but he's right where he needs to be coming into the end of the lap here. Right on the back of Checker. Seems to get on the power about the same time. The gap's nice and close going across the grass. Doesn't lose him. Doesn't seem to lose him.
What can you do into turn 1?
I thinks about it, but may have lost a little bit of time there as Checker runs wide, gets in the power early, but Fuchsia's close enough for the slipstream here. We should see him reel it in and be side by side into this braking zone. Here he comes. Hits the inside, brakes later.
Oh, wow.
And
bit of a nudge. Can he get the overlap?
Checker's come back at him now and has the high ground. Ooh, squeezing each other under the brakes. Checkers braked really well for that corner and playing that apex, but Fuchsia's not giving up.
Oh, wow!
Inside. Ooh, a little bit of contact there.
That door is always closing.
Go around. Yeah, it's not a very common passing corner, that one.
Oh, Checker very wide in the first part of that S there, giving Fuchsia a good
Checker
run.
Is struggling a lot through this third stint here.
Fuchsia's caught him at a bad place on the lap, really. Plenty of contact going on, it has to be said.
That's the fortunate thing with touring car racing, is you can afford to have a little bit of argy-bargy every now and then. As Checker locks up into the fourth last corner. Fuchsia right where he needs to be once again. Almost got alongside and in front at the end, in the beginning of the previous lap. Excuse me.
Whoa, Fuchsia has gone and lost out. He's backwards out of the final corner.
Where is Herrera on track though? He's coming out of that final corner now. He's going to have the momentum down the straight. Herrera is going to take this in position, I think, maybe on this straight, if not the next one.
He should get it into turn one.
Side.
Question is, can he? Yeah, he has. Can he keep it there though?
Fuchsia's going to be absolutely livid with himself after that one. He was right on the back of Checker, but just pushing too hard. He knew he was stronger in that final sector there, as Fuchsia's taking it up the inside. Backs out of it though. Herrera gets that that apex. It'll be interesting to watch Checker's relative pace from now, since he's built up a couple of second gap.
The thing for Fuchsia now is he needs to be careful he doesn't overdrive the car trying to make time back up, because that could lead to more mistakes.
It certainly could, and with Serrano in the lead and constantly having strong results, he can't afford to lose too many points.
Audi versus BMW at the minute for third and fourth. Could BMW be spotting the Audi party on the podium?
Looks as though they could. Once again, we have a 50-50 split of cars on the grid, or at least cars remaining, with 50% Audi and 50% BMW.
Bit of grass being kicked up by Herrera. Herrera's actually made up quite a bit of time on Fuchsia in this sector, actually.
Oh, Fuchsia's taking it a little bit easy after his previous mistake. Doesn't want to make any more.
Let's have a look, see what Checker's up to, shall we? He is still hovering around 12 second mark. He lost, wow, 0.7 on that last lap actually to Serrano.
7 seconds on that lap.
0.7.
Ah.
And he's got that all wrong into turn 3. Manages to hold on to it.
Very fortunate though that Fuchsia made his mistake earlier though, and he keeps his second place. Visually, Fuchsia has appeared to have gained on the back of Herrera once again, so we know Herrera is fast, just as fast as Fuchsia, but he's going to have to be very careful not to let Fuchsia pass, because he is going to be on a charge, trying to recover from that mistake. He's going to want his third position back, that's for sure.
These 10 remaining laps are going to be the longest of Herrera's life, I can assure you of that.
Well, I think it's fair for Herrera to receive some pressure after the pressure he was putting on Fuchsia back in Monza.
And funnily enough, it was actually Herrera who cracked him Monza whilst he was applying it, so... 13.4 between top two. And just about a second between third and fourth. Nieto a minute and a half down after his troubles with penalties. Porto a lap down and the last car running, and then of course Aguilera retiring after crashing on the penultimate corner, or final corner.
Yeah, what do you call that little kink at the end? Is that an extra corner, or is it just the track regaining its shape? Little kink.
I don't know, it depends what track you're on.
Yeah, it does indeed. Herrera this time through, building his gap to Fuchsia. So Fuchsia, one.
Yeah, Fisher lost
Now Herrera.
about 0.5, I think, that last lap. Nieto's actually lapped Porto, so Porto is a lap down behind the nearest car. I don't normally see that unless we're doing endurance racing, but alas, it doesn't seem to be going Porto's way at the minute. Fuchsia 1,000th quicker in the first sector than Herrera this lap. Gaps up to 2 seconds between the two. Who is that we've got up ahead? Is that... You know, Checker's not too far ahead now. I wonder if he's made a mistake somewhere.
You know, you're right. He has lost a bit of time somewhere. I was looking at the gap between Serrano and Checker, and noticed that it had increased rather dramatically over the past 2 or 3 laps. But I didn't realise that it was not from Serrano driving away, but from Checker falling behind. So, as I said earlier in the race, Herrera might be challenging for a 2nd place later in this race. Still a lot of time for him to catch up in the last 8 laps here, but you never know if Checker keeps losing time like he is. As he power slides through that turn 3.
Checker did a 2-minute 5.5 last time around, so he lost 1.5 seconds.
Of course, a race pace lap is about 2:03, 2:04, and a qualifying lap's a 2:02, so a bit off the pace there. There should still be 1 round of pit stops to go in this race here.
It should be probably the end of this lap actually, 21.
The question of who has a nice quick pit time, nice quick in and out lap, gets the tyres up to temperature, and can make the move.
You know, we could well see if 1 extra lap does help, because Herrera is visually and time-wise catching Checker by quite a bit at the minute, and Herrera is due to stay out 1 lap longer.
Well, we've seen it both before with Checker and Fuchsia, that toward
Is Checker pitting? Checker is indeed pitting. What about her? Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Fuchsia's into. So we have Serrano in, we have Checker in, we have Herrera in, we have Fuchsia in. Serrano now exiting the pit lane. Safe to say that he's out of this one. He's got a safe first place. All he needs to do is make sure he doesn't blow up that engine. doesn't destroy that gearbox, doesn't blow a tire. He just needs to keep it on the black stuff between those two white lines, and he's going to take another victory here.
Look at the gap between Checo and Herrera. That's a lot closer than it was before.
We keep talking about Herrera and Checo, but let's not forget that Fuchsia is quite a fast driver himself. He's been falling off a bit. It's been quite strong at the early stages immediately after a pit stop. So Fuchsia could come into play here as his car's overheating a little bit down the straight, obviously running the radiator quite low.
Into the final stint, into the final 6 laps we go. This
What is
hasn't...
that gap?
The gap between...
That's what we all want to know.
Well, gap between Checo and Serrano is 5 seconds. I don't think that's right. 16 between the top 2. And then it's...
I believe that gap because of the pit stops. Sorry for interfering.
Yeah, it probably was. It's 4 seconds between Herrero and Fuchsia. But this hasn't been a bad race actually. We've had some good battles for the entire race so far.
And clean racing. We've seen a bit of pushing and shoving in some of the other races. A bit messy, a couple of bumps here and there, but this time through seems to be fairly clean.
Everyone seems to have improved their driving a lot since that accident we had at the top of Eau Rouge in Spa.
Herrera running a little wide there through this final sector. Obviously pushing very hard. He knows that the second place is almost in his reach. We'll have to see at the end of this stint here who's managed their tyres better, because we know Herrera was gaining fast, very fast at the end of that third stint. Fuchsia visually still falling behind. He's probably settled into a 4th position now unless the two ahead of him make a mistake.
Yeah, I mean, Fuchsia was battling for 2nd early on and now he's going to be 4th. That's interesting. Serrano did a 2:24 the last lap.
Would that be the lap that he exited the pit lane?
It would indeed, but Checo, Herrero and Fuchsia did a 2:12.
It could be where the timing line is.
Yeah, I was just wondering if it's where the timing line is relative to pit boxes.
Because I know that Serrano's pit box is the furthest down the pit lane. At least out of the top 4 it is. I think Herrera is losing a little bit of time here.
Yeah, he is. Gap between him and Fuchsia is down to 3 seconds. 2.5.
Raggedy across his double apex section. Come on, boy, keep it together. You don't want to drop away like you did at the end of the Monza race as well.
So it may not all be over for Fuchsia yet. 3rd is definitely in his sights still. And he's gaining at quite a good rate at the minute. Has to be said.
It almost looks as though Herrera had a bit of a problem on that lap. Not just with keeping it on the black stuff, but as a mechanical problem. Or a grip problem. He's still a bit edgy through some of these corners. Maybe a final twist in this race here.
As Porto just retired, what's he up to? He's made a mistake. Managed to get going again though. 1.5 seconds between third and fourth. Last lap for Herrera was a 2 minute 4.1, Fuchsia did a 2 minute 2.8.
Herrera may have come out of the box this final stint pushed too early and burnt out all of his rubbish. Very possible, as Herrera is not looking confident through a lot of these curves and the extra curbs they have on the curves. Last time through this double apex corner here, he was very sideways, going a lot slower this time. Fuchsia has got a lot of aero grip. Ooh, bit of a tank slapper. Fuchsia reeling in Herrera in this final sector here.
Oh, Herrera's round. Herrera's gone and done what he did at not Brazil, Monza, and he's lost it with just 3 laps to go. So Hans positions, that's what the word I'm looking for, changing in exactly the same way as they did before, with one of the drivers spinning out.
We have Porto in the pit lane right now, not sure.
Could be Porto's final stop maybe. Although it's quite late actually.
Let's not forget that he is a couple of laps down though, so it might be right on schedule for him.
Yeah, it's true. He's on lap 23 at the minute, so yeah. Checker's not too far down the road from Fushino.
I was thinking the same as well, but with the amount of laps remaining, it's going to be a big gap to close.
6.2, yeah. He needs to be catching him at 2 seconds a lap at least.
I have a feeling that Herrera may have burnt out his brakes once again. I believe that was the problem he was having towards the end of the Monza race, where he was losing a lot of control. And we may have a similar situation here.
Yeah, he's round again.
He should have fresh tyres unless he failed to change them.
So, I thought it was strange he pitted on the same lap though. I wonder if he had to do something other than scheduled stop maybe, but I don't know. Unless he was just trying to cover off Fuchsia and Checker.
As we know, undercutting is a very, very powerful tool when passing someone in motor racing these days. Getting those.
Fuchsia's not got the pace to catch Checker. Only 0.3 that last lap. I think our podium is just about settled with 3 laps to go. Herrera seems to be struggling quite a bit. He's dropped back 20 seconds, not 20 seconds, 12 seconds, sorry, already, in just the space of a lap or 2. Thing for Serrano is though he's got a good cushion between him and Fuchsia for the points. He's going to gain 10 points if we're using F1 standings.
Yes, indeed.
Can't take anything away from Checker though. He's driven a good race. Got the move made
yes,
on Fuchsia.
He's defended perfectly on all the attacks that Fuchsia was putting on him through those second and third stints. But the man you really can't take anything away from is just heading on to his 26th lap now. Jordi Serrano. In the past 4 races where I've commentated with you, and the one I missed in Belgium, he's taken a win in Hungary. He's taken a win in Singapore. He hasn't taken the win in Monza because of a spin early on lap 1 or 2 I believe. And he's going to take another win here in Korea. We can afford to take it easy, as Checker is almost the length of a 1 kilometer straight behind.
Yes, Serrano's had a good end to the season, it has to be said. I think we've got Japan we won't be going to, because of course that's in just a week's time for the F1. And then from there I believe we have Abu Dhabi, America, India and Brazil. Don't think we've been to India yet. No, we haven't.
Some of those races are back-to-back themselves as well, so it'll be interesting to see how the rest of them are scheduled. The Formula 1 calendar from this point in the season is 1 week home, 1 week off.
Actually, I think America and Brazil are back-to-back, so America could be the last round. Which gives us 3 rounds left, I think, after this one. I do believe Serrano will be coming on to his final lap in just a couple of seconds time. Indeed he is. Cross start finish line he goes to start lap 28 of 28. And once again Serrano not putting a foot wrong, getting the job done in qualifying and then just pulling away at the start of the race and slowly extending that gap across the entire race. 20-second lead after 28 laps isn't too bad, it has to be said.
Yes, pulling out an average of 4 or 5 seconds a stint there.
Every single noise in that car will be something wrong in Serrano's mind now though. As Herrero's just spun again. In fact, is that for position between Herrero and Nieto? No, Nieto's in a different part of the track. Here he is.
Through that first sector there and a couple of corners, it was quite audible to hear Serrano taking it easy, accelerator way off during some of the corners, just coasting through, gently back on the throttle. He knows he has this one sealed, signed, sealed and delivered. All he needs to do is just bring it across that line there. So, with 4 corners to go, Serrano is going to take yet another victory and take more points away from Fuchsia in his championship as he comes around the final bend.
Pole, fastest lap. And now the win. Makes it
He looks pleased about that one.
2 in a row. 157 kilometers that race was. 59 minutes 20 seconds.
Out of the final bend comes Daniel Checker. Another strong finisher in these last couple of races here, doing very well for his championship as well.
Fuchsia final podium position, and then we've just got Herrero, who is about 20 seconds away from finishing this race. Could have been 3rd for Herrero, but once again it looks like he may have completely destroyed his brakes at some point in that race as he's just spun on the final corner as well.
Get across the line first. Go in the right direction. Just put it in first and coast along. As Adrian Herrero
has still not finished. Herrero is going to be classed as retiring from this race, I think. Because
he may be a lap up from his nearest competitor, though. So that may work out for him, technically.
I'm pretty sure start-finish line is on the lighting gantry, but could be wrong. Nieto is coming around the final corner. He will take 5th. And he does so. Porto was 6th, and of course Aguilera retiring early on in this race. So, I enjoyed that race, that was a good race. Certainly one of the more entertaining ones we've had in quite a while, it has to be said. Singapore wasn't the most spectacular one. As the race standings pop up then, so it was a win for Serrano, and then it was Checa in 2nd, 21 seconds back. Fuchsia was 3rd, Herrero was 4th, Nieto was 5th, Porto was 6th a lap down, and Aguilera was 7th and retired 19 laps off the lead in the end.
The battle I was really looking forward to didn't eventuate though, unfortunately, which was Herrero catching up to the back of Daniel Checa in 2nd place.
Indeed, and Fuchsia and Herrero didn't happen either, of course Herrero spinning.
Quite unfortunate, but nevertheless, plenty of good action there, especially between Checa and Fuchsia through the 2nd and 3rd stints. I can remember that word this time. But it has been a enjoyable race to watch, and we'll be looking forward to the next one taking place in, not Japan, you said? And,
no, it'll be
Abu Dhabi.
Yes, I think it's Abu Dhabi. I think Abu Dhabi and India switch around this year.
Fantastic. Alright, well I look forward to that. Another Jordi Serrano dominant victory here. Does Fuchsia have an answer in these final couple of races? Does Fuchsia have a chance at holding on to his championship lead?
Alright then, so we have 4 races left as we head over to Abu Dhabi, India, and America, possibly Brazil, but I'm not sure on that one, so it could be 3 races remaining. And I think it is going to be an interesting one to see if Serrano can close that gap to Fuchsia. Is certainly doing a good job in the final 2 races, and we shall see you all in a couple of weeks' time for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix.
See you later.